I think Bitcoin's crossed the event horizon. That is, it is universally acknowledged digital property, and the use case for digital property is certainly $100 trillion type market. And if you want digital property, you want something with a protocol that is so stable that 100 years from now, you don't expect any change. Even 1,000 years from now, you don't expect to change. I surveyed my Twitter followers, and on average, they think Bitcoin will be around for 3,800 years. Okay, so you want something which is a firm foundation that is not changing, and Bitcoin is really perfect for what it is. I think with regard to market cap numbers, the issue with market caps is if I have a very thin float, if only 1% of the tokens trade, then I can calculate a market cap, but that's not the same as the effective liquidity. What you really have to do is look at liquidity. And ultimately, I don't really think it makes sense to compare market caps to come to the conclusion. And even on the liquidity level, I don't think it matters that much. Like, for example, let's take Tether or a stable coin. They trade massive amount every day. If you go and you look, like
for sure, yeah,
$40 billion a day. Okay, does that mean that Tether is going to replace Bitcoin? No. I think that the best way to think about this is there are different use cases. Do you have a digital exchange? Do you have digital art? Do you have a digital currency? Do you have a digital property? Bitcoin is digital property. It's not digital art. It's not a digital currency. A currency needs to be a medium of exchange you can transmit without a tax obligation in a compliant fashion. Otherwise, it's not a currency. So a stable coin can be a currency, if the regulators tolerate it. That's a currency. All these things have their own different market, and they have their own regulatory dynamics and their own competitive dynamics. And if you segment the market that way, Bitcoin's really competing against like-kind proof-of-work networks that aspire to be digital property. And you could probably say it's like the forks, and you saw what happened with Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, and
yeah.
They will be whatever they will be. And I think that if what you want is something that'll last hundreds of years, that's not going to change, then you want a Bitcoin because you value it. The fact that anything else launches and has a large or small market cap or even a large or small liquidity, it's not going to change your desire any more than I own 10,000 acres and you own a cruise ship. And am I going to trade my 10,000 acres for a cruise ship? But there's different things,
yeah,
right? So that's what I think. I think ultimately the fundamental point to be made with Bitcoin, especially as it pertains to MicroStrategy, is I look at it and I'm like, well, what would I trade it for that I want more in 100 years? Like, if your time horizon is 100 years, I wouldn't trade it for a stock in any company. I mean, you could give me Apple. I don't want Apple. I don't want Google, right? I don't want a building. I don't want a fleet of trucks. I don't want a bunch of diamonds. I don't want a stack of gold.
It sounds like a country song. I like it.
I don't want currency, right? I don't, you could give me all the Picassos in the world. I don't want them. Like, I respect them. Fine. I'm not going to disrespect someone else that wants to hold Picassos. It's just not, it's not what I want. What I want is a non-sovereign synthetic asset, which is a commodity that I can move anywhere in the world, that is 1/21 millionth of all the energy in the network.